ติสามปฏิกัดอัญชลีอันทิวรังอยาจะภะสัมปีทัสสตาโรชะภาปิกาเทเสตุธรรมังอนุกรรมปัมมังปัจจัง
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมัสสามิ I have experienced the great honor of being invited to speak today on this auspicious occasion of the 60th anniversary of the foundation of the Buddhapadipa Temple. I will speak in English as my Thai is so bad, and I trust that people will be able to understand if I speak slowly and clearly and try not to use too many long English words. So forgive me if you have no English, but I'm sure people can help to translate later on. So on this occasion, Buddhapadipa has been founded for 60 years. I was about 9 years old when this monastery opened. I grew up here in England, and I had no knowledge of Buddhism whatsoever when Buddhapadipa was established by Their Majesties, the King and Queen of Thailand, and the Thai community here in England. And it has been a great blessing for the people of this country for these 60 years, for 5 cycles of 12 years, Halo, 5 cycles complete. Considering the invitation to speak today, I was contemplating the name, Buddhapadipa. Padipa means light, so the light of the Buddha. And also this occasion, we're just after the Asala Puja, the full moon of July, the beginning of the Pansar, and the occasion when the Lord Buddha first gave the teaching on the middle way and the Four Noble Truths to his companions, Panchavaki, the 5 companions in the deer park outside of Varanasi. And the time that the teaching was first expressed in spoken language, and the first disciple, Anya Kondanya, became the very first of the Bhikkhu Sangha, and the triple gem of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha was made complete on that occasion of the full moon day. In that teaching, the Lord Buddha states that by avoiding the 2 extremes, the extreme of Atthakila Matthana Yoga and Kamesa Nukarikama Yoga, the 2 extremes of sensual indulgence and indulgence in suppression, in the self-mortification, harming oneself through asceticism. By avoiding those 2 extremes, Kamesu, Kamasu, Kanikanu Yoga, Atthakila Matthana Yoga, then the Lord Buddha discovered the middle way, Majjhima Patipada, and that was what brought Chakku Karani, vision arose, it brought vision, Jnana Karani, it brought knowledge, Upasamaya, it brought calmness, Abhinyaya, it brought penetrative understanding, Sambodhaya brought enlightenment, Nibbanaya, the realization of Nibbana. So contemplating Buddhapadipa, the light of the Buddha, I reflected that first teaching, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. It speaks a lot about the image of light and vision. This is the language that the Lord Buddha uses in giving that teaching. vision arose, knowledge arose, enlightenment arose. And then when he describes each of the Four Noble Truths, he says, Chakkum Udapadi, Jnanam Udapadi, Panya Udapadi, Vichara Udapadi, Aloka Udapadi. Vision arose, knowledge arose, wisdom arose, understanding arose, light arose. So that imagery of light, the light of the Buddha, is very connected with these principles of the middle way and the Four Noble Truths. So, thinking of this occasion, Buddhapadipa shining the light of the Buddha here in the United Kingdom, based here in London, but that light spreading throughout this country, I feel that it's a very appropriate occasion to reflect upon these teachings of the middle way and the Four Noble Truths. When the Buddha spoke about the middle way, sometimes people understand it as just living a moderate life, indulgence some of the time and restraint some of the time. But it's a 50-50. But this is, I would say, a wrong understanding of the middle way. It's not just half the time sensual indulgence and half the time self-mortification. This is a wrong understanding. But sometimes people read the Buddha's teaching in that way. But rather, I like to think of it as, if you think of a pendulum, let's say, something like this piece of paper. So, if you have, for those of you who can see here in the temple, if this is like a pendulum, if it's over this way is the indulgence in sensual pleasure, and this way the indulgence in self-mortification, these two extremes. And in our lives, we often go back and forth between being indulgent and being restrained, being indulgent, being restrained. And so the middle way is not just 50-50, it's not just halfway along the swing. The middle way is the center point. I would say that's the point where things they are hinging from. The middle of that is what the Buddha was pointing to as the middle way, coming to the center, coming to the reality of the present moment. And that centeredness, in the Pali we have the word tatra majatata, which means in the middle of that centeredness, that quality of balance in our lives is what I would say the presence of Buddhapadipa, that's what has helped to bring the light of the Buddha into the world, that encouragement of that quality of balance, not just being sort of 50-50, half the time indulgent, half the time over strict, but rather attuning the heart to the present moment. That is the center of the circle. That's what the Buddha's understanding, his embodiment of the middle way was about, that full attunement of the citta to the here and now, in tune with the reality of Dhamma, in tune with the reality of nature. The occasion of celebrating 60 years, this is also a sign of the great patience, the great skill, the wisdom, the kindness that the many abbots who have been leading this community for these 60 years, and now Tanchakun Raja Panyakun, Tanchakun Mahalal, who I've known for a long time, that quality of balance and of centeredness, being in the middle of many complexities, taking care of the ups and downs of people's lives, the development of the monastery. First of all, I believe in East Chi, and then coming here to Kalo Road, that quality of embodying the middle way, the centeredness and the balanced attitude has had to be there for the Jawa, those who have led this community, those monks who have lived here, or the many hundreds, thousands and thousands of lay people who have served and supported this community. This quality of balance, of centeredness, of being attentive to the here and now, I would say that's what is the key quality that helps the light of the Buddha to shine in our lives and to be spread around us in the world. This is not an easy thing to do. It takes a great deal of patience, a great deal of commitment, a great deal of kindness and compassion, a great deal of wisdom in order to be able to sustain one's balance. Just like an acrobat walking on a tightrope, you have to pay close attention. As soon as you get caught up in the feelings of love or hate, excitement or depression, as soon as you get carried away by the moods of the mind, then you fall off the rope. We lose our balance. So that these 60 years and the development, the flourishing of Buddha Pradipa Temple, as it has taken shape, as we are all able to experience today, I would say this is a result of the leaders of this community, the generations of Jawa and the many monks and novices who have lived here, the many hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of lay people who have helped to be part of this community and to support this community for so long, that this flourishing has depended upon everyone finding that balance, learning to not get excited, to not get depressed, to not get upset, to not get irritated or not get too greedy. It's finding that quality of balance is important for all of us each moment, day by day. When I was at Amaro, just before I left on a year-long retreat, last year I spent a whole year in solitude. I didn't see any other monks or nuns for a whole year. I didn't give any Dhamma talks. I didn't have a phone, no computer, no television, no radio, no news, for the whole year. I had a year of seclusion and vivek by myself in 2 different places. Just before that time, Lumpur Pasanno, who is a senior monk from our community at Wat Nong Pong, he was at my invitation. He had come to Amaravati to help look after the community while I was going to be away for the whole year. And during the time that we were there, he quoted a statement by Lumpur Cha that I had never heard before, that I was very interested in, and which became a theme for my whole year of bhavana, of meditation. And I was surprised. I thought I had heard all of Lumpur Cha's stories, but this is one I had not heard before. And what Lumpur Pasanno said was, one day somebody asked Lumpur Cha, can you summarize the whole of the Buddha Dhamma? Can you express the Buddha Dhamma very briefly? And then Lumpur picked up something and said, is this big or small? That's the whole Buddha Dhamma. That's the entire teaching. Is this big or is it small? What do we call it? And so you might think, or you might think, if you're hearing this over the PA outside the temple, what did you just do? I just picked up a little recording device. So Lumpur Cha's explanation was then, our mind creates judgments. We say, this is beautiful, this is ugly, this is appropriate, inappropriate. Songkuan, mai songkuan, rebroi, mai rebroi. Sawai, mai sawai. Aroi, mai aroi. We make these judgments every day. Beautiful, ugly, delicious, disgusting, appropriate, not appropriate, mine, not mine. So if you can recognize that the mind is simply making a judgment, and you don't take that to be, oh no, it is small, it is big, it is beautiful, it is ugly, it is delicious, it is disgusting. The degree to which the mind believes in its perceptions and its judgments is the degree to which the mind creates kwamtu. That's how we create kwamtu, suffering within us. If we say, that's awful, if we know, oh, that's a kwamhen chichere, that's just my opinion, that's my judgment, and pensanya chichere, it's just a perception. if the mind has the wisdom to recognize this is just a perception, this is what I like, this taste, this is just my judgment. Say, delicious. For someone else, not delicious, may arroy. Like for many Thai people when they come to the UK, I don't want to generalize, but many people from Thailand, when they eat English food for the first time, they go, may arroy. Not delicious, no flavor, because there's no chili, not spicy. But then for an English person, they might eat the same thing. Oh, that's delicious! Oh, so good! And so when the mind can recognize, we say, this is short, this is long, this is small, this is big. That if there is the satipanya to recognize, this is just an opinion, this is our custom, this is the way we do it, then we will have kwamsamuk. This gives rise to abhinyaya, penetrating knowledge, nippanaya, it gives rise to peacefulness. When Luang Por Chah first came to England in 1977, Songkran Haroi Isip, he had never been outside of Thailand before. So many customs, many forms of life in England were very unusual to him. When people would meet him, a man would stick his hand out and he didn't know the custom of shaking hands. And so he would turn to Tan Sumeto and say, Sumeto, what do I do? Because it was not something in Thailand, a monk doesn't shake hands with people. The custom didn't exist that Luang Por was aware of in the northeast of Thailand. People would stand very close, or when they went on the London Underground, people would squish in beside the monk because there's not much room. So they wouldn't make space for Luang Por on the tube, on the underground. Luang Por would go, he would turn to Ajahn Sumeto and say, interesting, Han Sumeto. Maimungan, Propedi Maimungan. And he understood, he had strong conditioning from his life in the Isan and being a monk since he was young, but he was in London. They didn't know what a Buddhist monk was. They didn't know, you shouldn't stand close to a monk. My soe, my songkuan, my supar, not polite. Said, Propedi Maimungan. The customs are different here. And so Luang Por Chah had the wisdom to be interested in that and not just upset. He knew, that's a shock. And when one young boy came up to him on the street and tried to kick him in the behind, and Luang Por thought, again, that wouldn't happen in Thailand. A young boy coming up to kick a monk in the backside. But he turned to Ajahn Sumeto, who was walking down the street with him, and said, interesting, Ajahn Sumeto. Not the same. And this is a kind of flexibility, adaptability, that if we have that in our heart, in our life, then we are able to work harmoniously. We are able to stay in the middle, to be in the middle of things, tatra majatata, in the middle of things. We're able to maintain our balance. When people praise us, we don't get carried away. When people criticize us, we don't get broken-hearted. When people say they approve of what we do and how we look, we say, we are glad that they are happy with how we are. If they criticize us and say, that's wrong, you don't look good, that's not appropriate, then again we don't have a broken heart. Okay, they didn't like my choice of clothing or the things that I said. Okay, that is their business. The Lord Buddha, one time when he was criticized and attacked in the street by a Brahmin called Akosaka Bharadvaja, means Bharadvaja the abusive, that was his nickname. He was very upset because his brother, a Brahmin, had also been critical of the Buddha, but when he had a conversation with the Lord Buddha, faith had arisen, and he had become a bhikkhu, become a disciple of the Buddha. So his brother, Akosaka Bharadvaja, was very upset. So he verbally attacked the Lord Buddha in the street and scolded him. You're undercutting all of the customs of the caste system, and you've stolen my brother from the family. You're an evil monk. You're terrible. You're awful. He was very angry with him. And then the Lord Buddha said, Brahmin, can I ask you a question? And Akosaka Bharadvaja said, yes, go ahead. Do you ever have friends or family who come to visit your home? He said, of course I do. I'm an ordinary householder. People come and visit all the time. So, if family or friends come to visit you at your home, do you offer them food or drink? Do you offer them refreshment when they come? Yes, of course. That's a polite thing to do. Obviously, whenever anyone visits, I offer them such things. So, Brahmin, the Lord Buddha responded, if when a member of your family or a friend comes to visit and you offer them food and drink, and they say, no thank you, to whom does that food and drink belong? Well, it belongs to me. They haven't accepted it, so it's mine. And then the Lord Buddha said, Brahmin, you offer me your anger. I don't accept it, so it belongs to you. And so the Brahmin was very impressed by this response, and he too became a Luksit and became an Arahant, became a bhikkhu, and then realized Arahantship. And even when he was an Arahant, he was still called Akosaka. So the Arahant who had the nickname the abusive one. So the name stayed with him even after he had somewhere out. So that quality of being responsive to situations and not reacting. I realize that English might sound the same, but to react is when you get praised, you get excited and carried away, you get drunk on the praise. If you get criticized, you get noijai, upset, angry. This is to be reactive. To be responsive is different. There is satipanya, like someone praises you and you go, oh, I'm happy that they are pleased. I don't need to make that into dodon. I don't need to build the akwamata, the self around that. I'm happy that I have pleased them. Voilà, that's enough. If they are upset, they don't like me, they don't approve of me, I've done something wrong, I've said something inappropriate. Like in this Dhamma talk, if I've said something that's out of place, or I used the wrong kind of term, and it's caused upset or disappointment. Oh, why is he talking in English the whole time? That is okay. That is a feeling. Okay, I'm not happy to upset or disappoint people, but there it is. We don't get carried away. We have satipanya in relationship to happiness, unhappiness, success, failure, gain and loss. In this way, it's living responsibly with a gentle heart. And so then we are able to keep that quality of balance, that centeredness, which is, I would say, the middle way. We stay at the center, not swinging from one extreme to the other. We stay at the very point of balance, at the center of things. So while I spent that year in retreat, that short teaching of Lumpur Cha, saying the whole of the Buddha Dhamma is this long or short, is this big or small. That whole year, that teaching kept coming into my mind, and I had a very, very simple life. Vivek, by myself, no other monks, no responsibility, maininati, to Rabindabat, just to receive alms food each day, chant the Anumodana, that was my duty each day, that's all, nothing else. So a very, very simple life. So, in that simplicity, I could see how many times during the day the mind made those kind of judgments. I like, I don't like, that is big, that is small. this is mine, that's not mine, this is near, this is far. And over and over again I would hear Lupo Cha's teaching. Well, I call it near, but compared to what? I call that far away. The moon is far away. Compared to what? Compared to the stars, the moon is very close. Where I was for 6 months in Corsica, close to the sea, from my country I could see the sea about 4 or 5 miles away, 5 or 6 kilometers away. And the horizon, the horizon of the sea is so far away compared to what? I say, well, the people are living very close to my kuti, compared to what? So, in the course of any day, if we notice the number of times we make those kind of judgments, it's quite surprising, shocking even, amazing how much we say, I like, I don't like, this is good, that's bad, this is beautiful, that is ugly. And if we have the satipanya to recognize, it's just a perception, it's just the opinion, it's just my point of view, then notice how much more spacious, how much there is a Jaiguan, the heart is wide, is spacious, and we are able to live in a harmonious way with the people around us, the work we do, and the world that we live in. And this is a gift that we give to our family, to the people that we work with, and to the world. And I feel what Buddhagodipa has, for these 60 years, has been that force of encouragement to bring that light into the world, that light of embodying the middle way, being at the center, being a person who is responsive, able to adapt and be in tune with things rather than being carried away. So I wish to express my anumodana for the great work of Tanjokun Vite Panyakun and all of the Sangha here, all of the lay community who have supported this monastery for such a long time, and the generations of those who have gone before and who have passed away. So sadhu anumodana, and I hope some of my words have been useful today. Everything has been recorded, so nowadays with AI you can have automatic translation, just like that. Maybe simultaneous, as I'm speaking, someone's getting a Thai translation through the ChatGPT, through their phone. So may it be so. It will.